Okay, I'm gonna do a little video here. It's not gonna be that long because it is nighttime, technically, and I'm settling down for the night with the doggies at this point in time. So other than what I dealt with my ex-husband, what I deal with him every day when need be, he gets mad at me when I need to request stuff from him. He understands the situation currently that's going on right now. His number one answer is for everything, have your boyfriend help you. I've asked him numerous times. I said, who's my boyfriend? Who's the latest guy you're sleeping with? I mean, to me, that's none of his business. One, two, it's the whole situation that if I sleep with somebody, he finds out, he's automatically my boyfriend. I have nothing steady going on right now. I'm trying to stop and hold all relationships till I get to Illinois. Because I don't want to have somebody out here who's like, little G, stop! Sorry, yelling at a dog at the same time. Because he just randomly grabs my stuff and starts pulling it down. Because it's what he likes to do. So anyway, yeah, so what I was saying is that automatically, if I'm sleeping with the guy, I'm obviously dating him. I met my ex-husband way before I had a past. Or way after I had a past is what I should say, not before. I had the past after him. And of course, nothing changed. He knew that if I slept with him, I slept with him. I don't just date guys. He knows what I do the first day I meet the guy. If we vibe, that's what we do. And yes, it is very adult stuff that I do with him. As everybody knows, we're all at the point of where we're free and we want to love who we want to love and do what we want to do. Anyway, that's what ticks me off with him. Because that's the first thing he tells me. Have your boyfriend pay for you. Have your boyfriend support you. Have your boyfriend do this. Have your boyfriend do that. I told him when I got to Texas, and I knew pretty much a couple days into Texas that I would have no support from anybody in Texas. My family out here, they're all for themselves. And this is coming directly from one of my siblings. My family out here is all for themselves. They don't give a crap. If you need money, figure a way to get it. Granted, I understand my family grew up poor. My father's side's also black. My grandparents owned a house in the deep south. Houston, from where I'm at, is a little over an hour away. I am in the deep south. Mind you, the Gulf of Mexico, 7-8 minutes from me. That's how close I am. Okay. So, that's how far the beach is from me, 7-8 minutes. Maybe 10, thinking about it. But it's about 7-8 minutes, depending on the way I drive. Anyway, so, I am on a dating app that I've been on for, oh my God, I was on it. I actually joined it last year way before my husband asked me for a divorce. He legitimately told me he was moving out of my house and wasn't coming back last year. Okay? He came back out of nowhere, begged me. He's like, hey, let's give it another shot. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. I did it. Didn't care. So now I joined that website sometime back in... You okay, Dose? Sorry. I've got a dog with a cone on his head who just completely missed the bed. I have no idea how. But then again, cone kind of really doesn't help. But anyway. So I was on the site before. I also have been on Hinge before. I'm on Facebook dating. I'm on a couple different websites too. I was even on a website called Down. Met a few guys out there. Not worth my time anymore. So, yeah. as I'm sitting here, listening, going on this website, guy actually has one of his favorite artists. I flash back to when I was with Joe. I eventually will include a photo of Joe and I on this page too. I'll include a photo of my ex-husband and I too, because legitimately those are the only guys other than the one trucker I was dating around this time last year. Yeah, it was this time last year. Other than him, those are the only guys I have photos with. I had with my ex-husband because the 15 years of relationship, I had that. I had all those photos. I still have all those photos on my Facebook. I just don't have the heart to delete them because a lot of them have my dogs in them. And I'm like, the hell? I'm like, my dogs, screw it. I don't care who's in it. It shows my dogs, it shows my damn dogs. Just like the photos I have of my ex-fiance and I shows my newest one, Little G. I just have the photos because of Little G. I don't care about him. I just have the photos of Little G, and I like the photos of Little G. He's a cute, tiny little guy that I like. And munches whenever he wants to. And drags all the water dishes when they're empty over to my sink area to let me know it's time to fill them with water. Anyway, that's beside the point. So, I was sitting there going through some stuff on there, and one of the videos, the site actually gives you the option for live, so you can do a live video. So this guy had a live video, and the song in the background was a song that Joe loved to play by Kevin Gates. I don't like Kevin Gates. I don't like the song. Horrible trauma, because I had to sit there like my brain went numb. And when your brain goes numb because of a certain issue, when your brain goes numb for something that's traumatic, it's a normal thing. It's your response to the trauma at that point in time. Sorry, friends is on. But yeah, so anyway, it's just the whole thing is that when you have trauma like that, and your brain just numbs out because it flashes you back to where you were with him and that song, and it just flashes you back, you have a big issue with stuff like that. And it's not good because, yes, it's part of the trauma. It's part of, it brings you back to the trauma. It brings you back to when it was, give me a second here. Leave it!
Rich, I think I'm going to wait out here because my throat is going to go scratchy.
Life of being a dog mom here. Anyway. But it brings you to that trauma. It brings you to that resentment. It brings you to that... It flashes you back to that point in time. And I'm sitting here just watching this and I'm like, I know I'm nowhere near him. I know I'm not even the same state as him. I have nothing to do with this man other than I have the dog. And he has requested that dog back. I've been told by a legal lawyer that I did contact a lawyer about the situation just to be on the safe side. And I did state that the dog has been registered to me out here in Texas. The lawyer asked when the last time was that he saw the dog. I said sometime in May. I said it was right before he and I broke up was when he saw the dog last. I actually brought him to where he was at. He was actually in my area for the night, or for the day. He actually went and stayed at the Oasis by my house. And I know my ex-husband will hear about this. He stayed at the Oasis by my house. He called me. He said, hey, I'm over here at Walmart by the gas station. Can you come see me for a few? Yeah, I can see you. I don't mind. I said, I said, oh, I'll give you the chance to see my van too, because he had never seen my van before in person. Because I was so happy that I had it back. And I said, oh, you're going to see my van now in person. I said, you're going to see what I actually drove. I said, you're going to see what I owned and what my ex-husband stole from me. And he sits there and fights me against the lawyer, told me to take it back. The judge actually said the lawyer was in the wrong to have him take the vehicle back, even though it was financed under him. He had no right to take the vehicle back due to the fact, because I even did state before, I was driving the vehicle. My ex-husband was like, well, he's like, I came and got the vehicle. He goes, when I got it, it was trashed. I told him, I said, yeah, due to the fact I had just driven it that week. I said, legitimately, I would take my one car to and from my one job. I would take my bigger car to the one location. So I used to do 3 locations in Illinois area. I used to do our Des Plaines location. I used to do our Rockford location. I used to do our Elgin location. If I had to have something done on my eye, then I would take my bigger vehicle because it had the sensors. And I wasn't afraid to drive the vehicle due to the fact that it had the sensors, and it would warn me if somebody came close or I came close to something. Where my tinier one didn't have all those sensors on it. So I had driven it that Wednesday to work. I think I drove it that Friday too, to work just for giggles, because I was like, let me just do it. And no, actually I had a half day that Friday. That's right, because I only had to be at my one clinic on Friday. And it was the Elgin clinic, it wasn't the Des Plaines location. So I took the van that Friday. And then the guy I was seeing at the time was like, hey, can you do me a favor? I'm switching jobs. I just need you to come and help me get my stuff. So I had taken it out to Joliet. He had seen both vehicles because he had actually ridden in the van, that he also rode in my tracks too. So he'd seen both vehicles. And this was the guy I was seeing at that time. So he'd seen both vehicles. But anyway, yes. So going back to that original point, yes. When my ex-husband was like, yes, when I took it, it was trashed. I said, when I got it back, it smelled. I would take that trash over the smell. He goes, well, when I got it back, he goes, when I took it, it smelled. And it was trash. So mind you, I said the reason why it was like that was due to the fact that I had driven it that week. And at the point in time, little G down, and at the point in time, I do a lot of work on my vehicles. When I get a vehicle, I have a cricket maker back home in Illinois. So when I get on that thing and I start going into craft mode, I legitimately, I craft. And I had about roughly $700 to $800 worth of vinyl on that car. Not to mention the stickers I had got. One was on my car that said felon and was Donald Trump. And I had it at my interior window of my van. My ex-husband knew about it. He's pissed that I put it on there. I got it for free. I'm like, shoot, I like it. Because technically Donald Trump is a felon. Still is a felon. Will always be a felon. I'll get a little political on my page too every now and then, so ignore that. But yeah, so when he took it, got it, they took everything off. My ex-fiance sent me a photo of my van. There were 3 stickers that were still on there. One that stated trucker's wife. And it said proud trucker's wife, and I had since April 2012. Only thing that was scraped off was since April 2012. Had the semi, had the proud trucker's wife. I had a sticker on there that was the surf wax stitch. Huge sticker. Sent me a photo. That sticker was actually still on my van. My plate frames were still on my van. Everything was on my van that I had before. Well, some of the stuff that I had prior to. I had a lot of Pride stuff on my vehicle that I got. And I paid $20 to get all those stickers. my dumbass ex-husband and his current girlfriend decided they were going to scrape all that shit off my car because, oh, it was their car. And I kept telling them, I said, I'm getting that van back no matter what. I knew I was getting that van back. Just like I keep saying, I'm going to get the house back. My predictions already came true once. Number 2 can come true at any time. Anyway, so on to with this whole thing that kind of put me into like a traumatic state today. So like I said, with my ex-fiance, like I said, he was a huge Kevin Gates fan. I knew the song. When I heard it, my brain went numb. Trying to figure out why I'm hearing the song. And I realized, I knew why I was hearing it, but my brain could not process that song that much, and when it processed it, I would see him. I'm seeing my ex-fiance. I have a lot of trauma from him still. There's a lot of stuff. There's a woman, like I said, I do follow on Facebook, and she's engaged to a narcissist, and she has a child with this person too, on top of it. And I get it. It's a horrible thing. And I don't know what her situation is like, but from what she is pointing at with a lot of stuff, I don't feel like she's trapped. I feel it's more along the lines of she's trying to figure out not how to get out, but how to just maybe get him to change, if possible. They don't ever change. Leopard never changes its spots. Because I called my ex-fiance out a few times and I said, you're a narcissist. And he's like, no, my father's a narcissist. If I was a narcissist, I would be saying I'm a narcissist. And always throw everything in my face. Even when I would stay at his place, he would double lock the door. I would have to sneak out of that apartment when he was at his first job. He actually worked at 2 places. He worked at a place called Emerson's, which is right there in Rock Falls, off of Rock Falls Road, I believe it is. It's a great place, decent food, very good atmosphere. Owner knows one of my old bosses. That was my tie to Rock Falls. And then he worked at a place called Casey's Gas Station, which is Casey's General Store in Illinois. It's more toward like Midwest area with Casey's. So when he would work at Casey's, if I needed to get something out of my vehicle or go run and do something, I would have to text him that I have to go do this really quick, and this is the time I left. When I got back, I would have to let him know when I got back. Like I said, I was doing DoorDash and Uber out in Illinois. That's how I started a lot of that stuff. And the one day, he was working at Emerson's. Was it Emerson's? Yeah, because he just went back after he just gotten out of jail. He was at Emerson's majority of the day, which I had to go run and tell Casey's at Emerson's that he was going to be at work because he had been arrested. The night he got arrested, I had to go tell them at Emerson's he's not coming back tonight. He was fully arrested. Everybody told me don't let them know. I'm like, because if he loses his job, guess who's going to take it out on? Me. It ain't going to happen that way. So I did let them know that, hey, by the way, he's not going to be here. Same thing with Casey's. I told her I went to Casey's, asked to speak to the manager. I spoke to her, and she was like, oh, okay. I said, he was just arrested last night. I said, he is not going to be at work until he gets out Monday. I said, I'm not too sure. I said, he should be released on Monday after a certain hour. Dozer, lay down. Sorry. But anyway, yeah, stop homeowning for a little bit today. But that's what he does best. Gets on my nerves and I love it. But yeah, anyways, so with Casey's, I was like, I don't know if he's going to show up the rest of the week. When he gets back, I don't know. I said, I don't know what he's going to have to do with going to talk to his probation officer, do all the stuff that he needs to do. So when he finally got back, I was doing what I normally did in that area. Anytime I stopped, because he had me on Life 360, which is an app that you can track everybody. He had me on Life 360. He also had me on my DoorDash account, and my DoorDash would show everywhere. The Uber didn't give out the notifications, but the DoorDash did. And anytime I stopped, I was trying to stop at Hardee's to go to the bathroom really quick. Anytime I put the car in park, wouldn't even have the key out the ignition, he'd call me. Why are you stopped? Where are you at? What are you doing? Who are you with? Told them, finally, I said, I need to go pee. I said, I've already had to try to stop at 4 different restaurants to go pee. And every time I start going into the restaurant, you call me and yell at me for stopping for no reason. I had to stop to go to the bathroom or whatever I needed to do. He's like, well, if you need to go to the bathroom, you can come back to my place and go to the bathroom. You don't need to go to the bathroom in the restaurants. And I'm like, that's going to waste more gas. I'm running. I'm not going to drive back to your place to go all the way out to where I'm at. Because I would go into Oregon, I'd go into Sterling, I would go into Rock Falls, I would go into whatever was in that area. He's like, well, you can come back to my place and go to the bathroom. Little G, leave it. And he's like, oh, you can come back to my place and go to the bathroom. No, I'm not going to stop, turn around, and then go right back, because if I get an order, I want to be on the road. So if I'm getting an order and I just happen to be in that restaurant, I will go pick it up. Like, I've had orders in Galveston here. I've done orders at McDonald's where I'm running to go to the bathroom, and then, boom, I get an order while I'm sitting there, and oddly enough, it's the same place I'm at. So I accept it, and I go and pick it up. Or I've placed my order, got my order, gone out to my vehicle to put my order in my vehicle, and I get the order for that place, and I just go right, and they go, "Would you?" No, nothing. And then we figure it was DoorDash. So, yeah. But like I said, with this whole thing with this song, yes, my brain went back to that time with him, because it is very traumatic for me to even. It was traumatic for me to even be with him, and I didn't realize how much trauma I had from that until now. Because I even had a friend of mine tell me, you realize a lot of that PTSD is from him. I said, yeah, I know that now. I said, and she actually met him. She didn't meet him, but she saw who he was. And because she went to court with me the one day, and I was like, as I put out there, I'm like, you don't want to go to court with me? Like, damn, I'm coming back to Illinois, who wants to go to court with me? It wasn't fun. And that court case was not, it was just the preliminary just to keep going. They want me out there on the 18th. I doubt I'm going to be going out to Illinois within the next week or so, because I'm still waiting to hear back to find out when I need to be back in Illinois. So if I need to be back in Illinois within the next week or so, I'm trying to be moved out there by Christmas, the latest at this point. Push comes to shove, I can be out there by Valentine, like by the end of February at this point. I'm looking somewhere between now and the end of February. That's kind of why I'm like, if I start a relationship out here in Texas, is it going to be worth it for me? Because a lot of guys that I start relationships with have kids, and I'm like, I don't want them to lose their kids. It's the whole situation. So I also have to look at it that way too. If they've got kids, I don't want them leaving their kids, and they're like, I don't want to leave my kids. I get it, because yes, then the mother can be like, well, you're not getting visitation if you don't come back here, yada yada yada. My father's wife was the same way with the kids. She demanded child support even though no court order. And you figure the youngest age gap between me and the youngest one, quote unquote, was 12 years. Because due to the oh no, that's my sister. She's 12 years older than me. Yeah. I'm like, wait, she's 50 some odd years old. Like, my sister's 12 years older than me. Because her and my uncle are the same age. So yeah, it's just the whole thing of that. You know, the youngest, he is trying to do the math in my head, and he's actually the same age as the guy I used to date too. I'm tired, sorry. But yeah, so between the age gap between me and my brother is 6 years. So he was 6 years old when I was born. And yes, my father had to pay child support on him, had to pay child support on my eldest sister, because like I said, she was 12 years old when I was born. So she was only 14 when my parents moved out of the state of Texas. Well, she was a little younger than 14, but she was about 14, 15 when my parents and I were living on the East Coast. So yeah, so I get it. He had to pay child support for years. He had 5 kids with her. We'll go into that story later too eventually. But yeah, my father had 5 kids with her. So my father had to pay child support, and at that point in time, my parents were sending her $200 a month for 5 kids. Factor in the math on that one. It's $200 a month. $100 every 2 weeks. I was $10 a kid. They should figure 5 kids, $50. Multiply that by 2. Yeah. That actually, no. Yeah, because a little bit more than that. Thinking about that, I'm like, wait, that's not the right math. But we'll figure out that math. I think it's like whatever it is. But yeah. Oh yeah, well, technically $50 a week. So yeah, $100 1 week, $100 the 2 weeks after that. So yeah, no, that is right. That is the math there. Sorry. But yeah. So they would send her. She would get like $200 a month from my mom, and if my parents could afford it, mind you, they had me. I was a toddler. I was a newborn infant toddler, to the point of where then I eventually had to go to school, and my parents had to pay for daycare for me to go to daycare all day because they had nobody watch me. So yeah. But that's kind of what I look at, is that now I know what the child support is in the state of Texas. I know what the child support is in the state of Illinois. So I'm like, I think it's going to be better if I actually, start a relationship in Illinois versus Texas. Because, like I said, once it comes down to when I'm moving, I shouldn't say if it comes down to when I'm moving, once it comes down to when I'm moving, it's the whole situation that, are you going to go with me, or are you going to stay here? Are we going to do something long distance? I mean, I could start long distance in Illinois now if I wanted, and just say, hey, by the way, I'll be out there around this time. You're always free to come down here if you want, vacation, whatever you want to do. So, it is what it is. But yeah, I said this was going to be short and didn't even make it short. This ended up being a long video, and I apologize. But hey, it is what it is. But yes, like I said, with something like that, when I get trauma like that, it flashes and it triggers a lot of stuff. I will freely admit my lab never liked him. I shouldn't have either. He's the second one that he never liked. I had one guy who stood like 6 something. He told me he was 6 feet. No, it was a bullshit lie. It was about like 6'10", like 6'7", 6'8". I was a truck driver. I had a thing for truck drivers. That's weird. But alrighty, I will talk to you guys in the next video. Ask questions. I'm an open book. I will freely admit anything you need to know.